Good morning, my dear students. Welcome back. As we know, in the last class, we have gone through with the geography second lesson in two parts. In the first part, we have seen that the physical features of India, how the physical features of India has been evolved here. As we seen that the story of the tectonic plates, how it is emerged and the physical features has been formed there. We have seen the major physiographic divisions. Before that, we have gone through with the story of the plate tectonics there, how the land of India displays great physical variations there. Geologically, the peninsular plateau constitutes one of the ancient landmass on the earth's surface there. It was supposed to be one of the most stable land blocks there. The Himalayas and the northern plains are the most recent landforms there. Okay. From the view of the geology, Himalayan mountains forms the unstable zone. The whole mountain system of Himalaya represents a very youthful topography with the high peaks, deep valleys and fast flowing rivers there. The northern plains are formed of alluvial deposits. The peninsular plateau is composed of igneous and metamorphic rocks with the gently rising hills and wide valleys. This is what we have seen in the last class there. Now, we are going to the next physiographic feature of this lesson, that is the peninsular plateau. Yes, all the time we are going to start our session with the thought, that is build your own dreams or else someone will else hire you to build theirs. 100% true. Fine. Now, this is the map of the, you can see this is the map of the physical features. Here northern plains we have come across, we have finished with the Himalayan ranges. Okay, now next we are going to see, this is the map of the physical features, how it has been plotted there. Fine. Just we will start with the introduction of the peninsular plateau here. Let me tell you what is the peninsular plateau. Yeah. What is peninsular? Then what is the meaning of peninsular here? The meaning of peninsula is nothing but where the here is also the ocean is there, here is also ocean and here is also ocean. That means three parts of the land covered with the water body here. This is the land part where all over the round it is covered with the water. Then it is called a peninsular. Yes. Now I hope you have got the clear of the meaning of peninsula. Now, what is the plateau? As we seen, a plateau is formed with the old landmass of the Gondwana land there. Okay, it is a tableland composed of the old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rock there. What does it mean? For example, if you take the table, have you seen your table there? How the table is there? What is the structure of the table there? Yes. If we see the table is consist of the four legs and elevation of the table is the flat there. In the same way, at the time of the volcanic eruptions, at the evolution time of this young old mountain that we have seen there, how it is formed there. In that case, again the story behind all this is the plate of tectonics. As we know that it is a old land mass of the plateau there. So at the time of the drifting there, first of all, the plateau is the structure of the table like that. You may thinking that all the time we have seen that the mountain ranges, how the peaks has been evolved there. But due to the volcanic activity, I have said that due to the volcanic activity, the left behind this the volcanic metamorphic rocks, igneous rocks, and the crystalline, that they are old crystallines, means already they are the very old, some of the crystal like structure it has been left out there. That all the rocks it composed of the plateau there. It is formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana. Already we have known that the erosion plate was the stable there, and this Indo-Australian plate, what it, as we know, it is moving there when it collides, and the mounted drifting there. When the mount drifted there, here the some of the in this area we can see here this hole has been drifted here, and here some of the here, like this area it has been have the deep shallow valleys, and this composed with the red, means it has composed with the round mountains there. So it is not round actually, it is like a flat there. Okay, this where the peninsular plateau has been formed there. The plateau broad has shallow valleys and rounded hills there. Just now I have told you there. Now if we go to the deeper discussion of the peninsular plateau, we see that it was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land. Yes, 100% true. Now the plateau has broad and shallow valleys and the rounded hills there. Okay. The plateau, this plateau consists of two broad divisions now. Fine. This plateau consists of the broad two divisions are the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau now. Now, if we see this one, see this part, if you can see the Central Highland, the whole part is called as the here Central Highland, and this part is called the Deccan Plateau here. Yes, this is the small picture I have shown about how the central, see this whole part is known as the Central Highlands. Now, hope children till now you have got the clarity of this peninsular plateau there. Now we are going to study the brief description on the Central Highlands here. Yeah, if we see the Central Highlands, okay, now the plateau consists of two divisions, just I told you, the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. The part of the peninsular plateau lying to the north of the Narmada River. Here, the Narmada River will flow from here. Okay, the part of the from here, the Narmada River is there. Okay, the lying to the north of the Narmada River, covering the major area of the Malwa Plateau. And if you see here, it is the located as the Malwa Plateau here. Okay, is known as the Central Highland. Means from this region, from here to the whole part, it is known as the Central Highland, as we seen in this map also. See, here you have the northern hemisphere, that northern part of the where the Narmada River is flowing like this. Fine. Here we can see the, and here actually above the Vindhya you have the Malwa Plateau in this location. Okay. Here what happens, the Vindhya range is bounded by the Satpura range. Okay. You can see here, if I go back to this map, it is clearly mentioned here. Here you have the Satpura range. Can you see here Satpura range? Yes, you can see the Satpura range here. Here is the north. You have the north, it is mentioned as the Vindhyas, and south if you come here, it is the Satpura. Satpura range on the south and the Arvalis on the northwest here. As we know children, this is the north, this is the south. Yes, this is the north and this is the south. This is the north, this is south, and this is the You know very well what it is. This is the west and this is the east here. Yes? Fine. Now, what we are saying that Aravalli. Aravalli is on the northwest. This is the part of the north and this is Aravalli here. So it is the, we are calling it is the part of the west, northwest here. So that's why Aravalli is on the northwest. The further westward extends, means here again it extends to the further westwards. Okay. Westward extension during merges with the sandy and the rocky desert of Rajasthan. Here all it has been merged with the rocky desert there. The flow of rivers draining this region, means here whatever the flow rivers are there, it is draining this region. Namely, here from the Chambal, the Sindh, the Betwa and the Ken is from the southwest to the northeast. Yes, these are here the some of the rivers. It will start from the south. See, this is the south direction, right? From the south to the northwest to the till here northeast there. Okay, they are flowing here. All the rivers we have here, from here Chambal is there, here Son is there, again here Ken is there. Namely, the Chambal, the Sindh, Betwa and the Ken moving along together, they are flowing like this. Fine. From the southwest, this is from the south part to the southwest and to the northeast here. Thus, indicating the slopes here, means like this. In this, indicating the like the slopes like this. Fine. Here, this area, okay, the central highlands are wider in the west. When the rivers flowing from here, it is started wider in the west part. In this part it will be the wider, but as soon as when it slopes to the down to this, it becomes the narrower there. Okay. The eastward extensions of the plateau are locally known as the Bundelkhand. From here, if you see here, this region to till here, it consists of the here Bundelkhand and the Bhagalkhand. This all areas, Bundelkhand, Bhagalkhand. Okay, these are the plateaus. Means these are the locally extensions of the plateaus will be known there. Now, if you see here Chota Nagpur, hope you can see here the Chota Nagpur. But Chota Nagpur plateau marks the further eastward extension. Here in the central highlands, if we see the eastward extension is about the Chota Nagpur. You may, for the 1 mark question, you may ask this, which is the eastward extensions there. You can say the Chota Nagpur. Eastward extension of this central highland is the Chota Nagpur. And here westward, if you see the what is the extension of the westward, here is the which plateau was there? I have mentioned it, that is the Malwa plateau. Okay, and drained by the here, which river it is drained here with is Damodar river here. Now, next we are moving to the just we have seen about the central highlands. Just we go through with the central highlands points here. The part of peninsular plateau lying to the north of the Narmada river, covering a major area of the Malwa plateau, is known as the central highland. Hope I have shown you in a very clear manner there. The extent of central highlands is from Vindhya to Aravalli hills there. That also we have seen just now. The slope of the central highland is from the south to west there to the north to east. That also we have seen, right? Here again, which are the rivers flow from this slope there? Chambal, Sindh, Betwa and Ken. Okay. The central highlands are wider in the west and narrower in the east. I have explained that also. Again, the extension of the eastward Chota Nagpur for the central highlands and which river it is drained there? Damodar river there. Hope you have got the clarity there. Now, Deccan Plateau. As we see, this is the Deccan Plateau is a triangular landmass that lies to the south of the river Narmada. Here again, The Deccan Plateau is higher in the west and slopes gently eastwards. It is separated by the fault from the Chota Nagpur Plateau. What does it mean now? So again, if we go back to the map, okay, when we go back to the map, we can see here clearly this part. As we see that in the north, in the central highland, the north of the Narmada river is flowing there. Again, below the Narmada river, this whole part of the triangular is called the Deccan Plateau. So you can see here also, yes, this is the part of the Deccan Plateau here. Hope you got it clear now. Now what happened here? The Satpura range flanks its border base in the north here. This is the Satpura range. Okay, this is the Satpura range flanks its the border base in the north there again. While the Mahadev, the Kaimur hills and the Maikal range from its eastern extensions. Again, this, if you see there, you have the Mahadev range, Mahadev, the Kaimur hills are located here. Look, means extensions we can see there. This also we can plot on the physical map of the India there. Here the Deccan Plateau is higher in the west. Means see, this Deccan Plateau is there. This is higher in the west and slopes gently eastwards. Here the slopes are there towards the, like this, slopes are there in the eastwards there. Here an extension of the plateau is also visible in the northeast. See, this extension is there, no, that we can see in the northeast also. Locally it is known as the Meghalaya. So you can see this, see, this one we can see as here is the Meghalaya also there, like the Karbi Plateau and the North Catcher Hills. These all the hills that has been disappeared. Why it is? It is separated by the fault. Fault, we have seen that rivers have been emerged there from the Chota Nagpur Plateau due to this Chota Nagpur Plateau. Okay. Here, three prominent hill ranges from the west to the east are the from west to east. Okay, from west to east, Garo, the Khasi and the Jantia hills. These are the hills are there. Fine. Hope you have got the clarity about the Deccan Plateau here. Now, next we are going to the difference between the Western Ghat and the Eastern Ghat here. Now, children, what are the Ghats? Ghats, everyone we have familiar with the Ghats there. How Ghats has formed there. Now you are going, you are saying that I am going to the I'm going to some other places. I am moving from the Ghat session there. Okay, Ghat is the Marathi word we can say. As we know that, just see, Western Ghat lie parallel to the western coast there. They are continuous and can be crossed through passes only. Okay, the Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats. Their average elevation is 900 to 1600 meters. This is about the Western Ghats. Okay, fine. So, if we see again with the map, children, for this you have to keep the map in front of you while explaining and also while you are learning also. See, this part you can see as the Western Ghat there. Yes, this whole it is the like a Western Ghat, and you can see that you don't have any passes there. It is continuously, right? If you pass also, if you want to move from here, move means you have to pass it. You cannot climb it. Fine. So here it is a continuous, and it is the line to the parallel of the west coast there. Now they are continuous, can be crossed through passes only. So some are the physical map of India. We can Thal, Bhor and Pal Ghats can be seen here. Okay. Here now if you see, I said that these Ghats are the higher than the Eastern Ghats. Compared to this Eastern Ghats, these are higher here. The average elevation is 900 to 1600 meters as means here 900 to 1600 meters they are having the height of that one. Okay, so of the Eastern Ghat. The Eastern Ghat stretches from the Mahanadi Valley to the Nilgiri Hills. See, from Mahanadi to the Nilgiri Hills it has been stretching. The Eastern Ghats are discontinuous. See why it is discontinuous, you can see here. These are the discontinuous and irregular dissected by the rivers draining into the Bay of Bengal. Here Krishna, all the rivers they are draining and forms here the deltas here. What is delta here? The delta is nothing but when the rivers draining it to the Bay of Bengal, there here this side they opens the mouth in a broader like a finger like structure there. So that is called the delta. Here we can see the Western Ghats cause the orographic rain by facing the rain bearing moist. What are the orographic rain? That is the monsoon wind that flowing from there, it is hit to the mountains here, and that winds cannot blow to the here eastern side. Here only it will be hitting and the orographic rain or monsoon rains will start here due to the moist winds and the rise along with the western slopes of the Ghat here. That's why the Western Ghats are also known as the local names. By different local names, Sahyadri and everything we are familiar with this. The height of the Western Ghats progressively increased to the north to the south there. The highest peaks of this one is the Anai Mudi here. Okay, Anai Mudi, it lies in the here. Anai Mudi, it is in the Kerala. The highest peaks includes the 2695 meters and the delta Dodda Betta is there. Dodda Betta also you can see here. Mahendragiri 1500 in the highest peak. Mahendragiri you can see this part of the Odisha here. Okay, the highest peak in the Eastern Ghats there. Shirvai Hills and the Chavadi Hills are located in the south of this Eastern Ghats there. Okay, hope you have got till here clarification. So these are the popularly known as in the Eastern Ghats, if you see Udak Mandal, that is a Kodaikanal, Ooty. So here one of the distinct feature is that the peninsular plateau is the black soil area known as the Deccan Trap. This is because here all the time we can see the black soil there and igneous rocks there. Actually these rocks are denuded over time and are responsible for the formation of black soil there. The Aravalli lie on the western and the northwestern margins of this peninsular plateau. These are the highly eroded hills. They are found in the broken hills. They are not like the Himalayas, but it is broken hills there. They extend from Gujarat to again here till Delhi here. So they extend to the southwest to the northeast like this, southwest to northeast direction. Now hope I feel that you have got clarification till here now regarding the Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats. Hope you have got the clarity there. You also should go with the textbook. Fine children. Now next is about the Indian desert. Indian desert. The Indian desert lies towards the western margins of the Aravalli Hills. Okay, it is an undulating sandy plain covered with the sand dunes. Now, if we go back and see on the map where our desert has been located there. If we see here, my dear students, you can see this Indian desert, and it is also known as the Thar desert. Fine. And see, this is the Thar desert here, Aravalli range, margins of the Aravalli hills we can see here. It is an undulating sandy plain covered with, again it is undulating sandy covered plain. Means what is it? Sandy dunes, undulating. Undulating means here they are not evenly, they are like a wave-like structures we can say there. This region receives very low rainfall below 150 millimeter per year. Okay, if we see this, now if I tell you to see one of the picture here of yes, the region receives very low rainfall because till 150 millimeter per year. Why we are saying it is the 150 millimeter per year? Because as we see the temperature is high there, and due to the perspiration of the water is draining there. So due to that, when the region receives the only less rainfall, and it has the arid climate with low vegetation cover there. Why it has the arid climate there? As we know that because it is a sukha there. Arid is something but the sukha. So that is why, because of that moisturizer, we are not having the proper vegetation there. Very less vegetation we can cover there. Here streams appear during the rainy season. Means what here? What are the streams here? Streams nothing but the rivers, which are only when at the time of rainy season, thus we can see the rivers are flowing there, or else all the time the rivers are drained here because due to the precipitation. And it is due to this what happened there, the rivers are not joining to any other the sea there. They will be precipitate down at the sands only. See, and here one more part if of the sand, if we can say Barchan. What is this Barchan? Barchan is nothing but the important feature of the Indian desert or the Thar desert. See, this is the undulating, we can see. If you see the picture of this desert, we can see the undulating. So soon after they disappear into the sand as they do not have enough water to reach. Why it is, I just now say with the precipitating, it will be water is drained out there. Here in this region, if you see, Luni is the only large river in this region. In this region, Luni is the large river there. So if we see what is this Barchan, how it is formed? Barchan is the crescent shaped dunes here. Dunes already we have learned in the last class there. You can recall of the dunes there. See, this is the dunes there. Okay, this is the Barchan dune we have seen there. Here the crescent shaped dunes found in the Thar desert. Crescent like means, see, if you are going to see this one, the like the moon like structure there. See, this is the moon like structure. This is called the crescent shape. Okay, cover with the larger areas of the longitudinal dunes. So this is what happened, more than the permanent near into the Indo-Pak boundary there. If you visit Jaisalmer, you may go see a group of Barchans there. If you go to the Jaisalmer, then you will be seeing the more there about the Barchans there. Hope now, till now, Indian desert, we are not having so much wide explanation on this. So hope this is the small bit, and hope you have understood this one. These are the photos of the Indian desert. See, you can view it properly here. Again, there are Indian desert. If you see, hot deserts are there, cool deserts are there. As it is extra information because as it is not mentioned in your textbook there. So these are the hot deserts. What does the hot deserts say there? The deserts, the largest hot desert in the world, northern African's Sahara, reaches temperature up to 122 degree of Fahrenheit, 50 degree of Celsius there. During the day, covering 9 million square kilometer and 12 countries there. Hope children you can, this is the extra knowledge just I have shared with you, as it is not mentioned in your textbook there. Again, some of the photos of hot deserts. Cool deserts here. The common conception of deserts are as dry and hot. There are cold deserts as well. Desert animals have adapted ways to help cool and use the less water there. For example, camel is the animal, yes, can go for days with the food and the water there. Many desert animals are nocturnal, coming out only when the brutal sun has descended to it. Brutal means what? Less. It's a very part of it. Some animals like the desert tortoise in the southwestern United States spend much of their time underground there. Most desert birds are nomadic. Okay, crisscrossing the skies in search of food. Because of their very special adaptations, desert animals are extremely vulnerable to introduce predators and changes to their habitat. This is about the cool desert, just as the information to you. See, these are the cool desert photos you can see. Next, another physical feature is the coastal plains here. Now, again, if you go to the coastal plains here, we go back to the again. Children, don't say that ma'am why is going again and again back to the PPT there. So yes, because this is very necessary that if we have this map, then definitely it is very helpful for each and everything there. Without ma'am, it is unable to understand this lesson. Now the coastal plains. As we see in the peninsular plateau is flanked by stretch of narrow coastal strips. Yes, these are the, see, we see these are the ghats of the western ghats and the eastern ghats here. Between the, here flanked by the stretched narrow coastal strips are there. Here we can stretches of the coastal strips we can see in this area till down. These strips are known as the coastal plains here. See these strips, the boundary here you can see that these strips are called the coastal plains there. Now running along with the Arabian Sea on the west, okay, Arabian Sea on the west and the Bay of Bengal in the to the east there. The western coast, here what happened, the western coast sandwiched between the western ghats. See this area is the that has been sandwiched there with the Arabian Sea and is a narrow plain there. Okay, this is the narrow plain. It consists of 3 sections there. From here to till down, it consists of the 3 sections. The north part of the coast is called the here from the Mumbai. Here from the this area to till Goa here, Karnataka till Goa here, we can see that we are having the Konkan. We are calling as the coast as the Konkan there, or Mumbai, Goa there. The central stretch here, again from here, the central stretch to the Kannada plain till Karnataka, here we call it as a Kannada plain. Why we are calling it Kannada plain? Because the people of Karnataka speaks their Kannada language, so it is called as the Kannada plain till here. And from here to here down, if we stretch it, it is called the southern stretch is referred to the Malabar coast here. From this to we are calling as the Malabar coast here. Hope you have got it this one. Again, the plains along the Bay of Bengal are wide. The plains of the Bay of Bengal are wide here. Okay, and level in the northern part, it is referred to the northern crescent. See, this is called the northern crescent. Okay, and if you see the southern part, this all till the known as the Coromandel coast there. Here large in this region large rivers like the Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri, all these rivers are flowing, forming extensive delta there. Okay, extensive delta on this coast. Lake Chilika is the important feature along with the east coast here. Lake Chilika you can see there. So this is about the coastal plain here. Hope you have understood about the coastal plain very well there. Now next, children, again we are moving back to the next slides of the coastal plains. Just we are elaborating about the coastal plains there. What the coastal plains is explaining there. Just I have explained with the map. The same points are there. Yes. So this is very important to the remember when you will get the questions that what is the coastal plains there. You can go with this answer there. This is the just revising of the. You can revise it also. Yeah, the northern part of the coast is called the Konkan. Just now I have told that Mumbai Goa part that till. The central stretch is called the Kannada plain, while the southern stretch is referred to as the Malabar coast there. The plain along the Bay of Bengal are wide and level there. I have said you that now. In the northern part, it is referred to the northern Sircar, while the southern part is known as the Coromandel coast. Large rivers such as the Mahanadi, the Godavari, the Krishna and the Kaveri have formed extensive delta on this coast there. Lake Chilika I just have given important feeling of the eastern coast there. The next of this lesson is the island here. Yes, hope you are very familiar about this island here. An island is a piece of subcontinental land that is surrounded by water. Everyone we know. Very small islands such as emergent land features on the atolls can be called the islets, keys. An island in a river or lake may be called as the yacht or home. A grouping of geographically or geologically related island is called an archipelago. Yes, this is the just information about the island. Now, if we see the island of our India, Lakshadweep Islands and the Andaman and Nicobar Islands here. If we see the Lakshadweep Islands, again we are moving back to the children, we are going back to the map again. So, I said that the map is very important for this lesson, and you should also keep the map in front of you, then only the concept will get clear there. Okay, this map, what again here, if you see this part or in this map, okay, in this map we are going to see the small islands we can see here. Fine, these are the Lakshadweep there. Okay, these are the islands of Lakshadweep. Now we are seeing the islands. You may be confusing that how many of them you have come to know that these Lakshadweep and Andaman Nicobar are the different from our country. If so, then you are wrong. This is not the different from our country. It is also a part of our country. As we said that in that how the plateau or all these physical features has been formed, due to that all the evolution it has been merged here. So that again we are going to see in the explanation here. So as we know that Lakshadweep and the Andaman and Nicobar Deeps, the group lying close to the Malabar coast of the Kerala. Yes, this is the Kerala, this is the coast of the Kerala. Okay, this is the group of islands is composed of small coral islands. Here the small coral islands, what are the coral islands, will explain you later. Earlier they were known as the Laccadive. Okay, earlier they are called as the Lakshadweep as the Laccadive, Minicoy and Amidive. But after in 1973, these were named as the Lakshadweep there. Okay, it covers small area of only the 32 square kilometer here. And his main headquarter is the, which one it is? About the headquarter is Kavaratti. Administration, okay, administrative headquarters is the of the Lakshadweep is the Kavaratti. Very important 1 marks question, you may get it. This island group has great diversity of flora and fauna. Yes, the Piti Island which is uninhabited as the bird sanctuary. It has the here some Piti Island, one island is there that is uninhabited because the vegetation is unable to cultivate there. So that island has been considered as the bird sanctuary there. Okay, now if we go to the elongated chain of the island, this one, it is located in the Bay of Bengal. This is the Bay of Bengal. Okay, extending from the north to the south. This is north to the till south here. These Andaman and Nicobar Islands, these are bigger in size and more numerous and scattered there. Okay, these are bigger in size and numerous scattered there. We can see that. The entire group of island is divided into two broad categories. This is this one is divided into two parts. Till here it is the Andaman and here this one is the Nicobar. This north portion and this again south portion, southern portion we can say. Here it is believed that these islands are elevated portion of the submarine mountains. What is the meaning of submarine mountains here? As we know that we have seen in the Purvanchal Himalayas. In that Purvanchal Himalayas, it has bent towards down to the south, and we have said that it has been taken the turn like this. At that time, some of the mountain that has been emerged here there. It has been believed like that. Okay, that's why it is called as the submarine mountains here. So, it is the islands, these are the group of great strategic importance of the country. There is a group of diversity flora and fauna in this group of islands too. These islands lie in the close to the equator and experience equatorial climate. See, this is the close to the equator there. So due to this, what happened there? Equatorial climate, how it is maintained? Here also it is maintained the same and has covered with the thick forest there. Okay, this is about the islands there. Hope you have got it here clearly. I have mentioned what is the Lakshadweep and what is the Andaman and Nicobar. This is the portion of the north side portion is called the Andaman. This is the southern part is called the Nicobar there. Fine. So next, moving to the conclusion. Again we are moving to the next slide. Hope you have got clear about this chapter. Still, if you feel any difficult or any doubt, so you have the feedback session, or you can call me at any time. Before saying thank you, I say that a detailed account of the different physiographic units highlighting the unique features of each region there. We have studied the unique feature of the each physiographic region. It would, however, be clear that each region complements the other and make the country richer in its natural resources. The mountains are the major sources of water and the forest wealth. The northern plains are the granaries of the country. Yes, they provide the base of the early civilizations. The plateau is a storehouse of minerals which has played a crucial role in the industrialization of the country here. The coastal regions and the island groups provide sites of the fishing and the port activities. Thus, the diverse physical features of the land have the immense future possibilities of development here. So coral, I didn't say about what are the coral islands here. Why? Means because the coral islands have immerse the calcium carbonate there, and the skeleton of that has been covered there, and it is small colonies they are formed there. That's why it is called the coral islands there. Hope this physiographic features you have got understood properly. And please children, while reading this lesson, take your textbook and map in front of you, then only you will be understanding the concept there. So now next, last but not least, I say thank you and stay home, stay safe. Bye. Take care.